email ID and ask you to send now. This step of now. Pause. Pause. Go on. Sorry, don't do it while groups. And welcome back to my channel Alive to Tell a Tale. My name is Sharmishta and today I am back with another video. So this is the second part of the new series that I started, going back to Ireland with a question mark. I see most of y'all have missed the question mark and have taken it as an announcement to me going back to Ireland. No, this is a new series where I'm going to talk about my trials to go to Ireland, if I'm even thinking about it, or completely ditch the idea of going to Ireland. So the first part was released on the last day of March. So if you haven't watched it yet, then go watch that first and then come back here. Today is the second part and today we're going to talk about what was my first trial to go to Ireland. So by now I'm sure you might have made out that I did think about it and I did give it a try as to should I go back or not. Now, multiple reasons why I thought I will go back. First, that the pandemic came to an end and I see that the job market was standing back on its feet, and I felt like all the money that I spent on my university fee and all the living expenses, it will completely not be worth it if I don't get some European work experience. Although I have a job now and I'm very happy about it, seeing your contemporaries who were studying in the same university, who did the same course, seeing them go back to the country, find jobs, good jobs, and getting the exposure and work experience that was promised by the university and the money that you're giving it for, looking at that and also hearing personal advice from people who are already living there and managed to grab a job was intriguing and was pushing me to give it a shot. So I did try, and my first trial was re-entry visa. So in today's video, I am going to tell you what re-entry visa is. I will tell you anything and everything one needs to know about it. What is it? How the evolution of re-entry visa happened, what it used to mean, what it was meaning, and if it is there right now or not. So this is your best bet if you want to know anything and everything about it. Stick around till the end of this video and you'll thank me later. So re-entry visa existed for quite a few years, even before I actually went to Ireland to study. I went in the year 2018 and it existed even before that, but back then it had a different meaning. So as the word explains, right, it's self-explanatory, re-entry visa. But back then, anybody and everybody who ever stepped out of Ireland, be it for any reason, be it a vacation or could be stepping out to go to their home country and come back, or it could be an official trip by the office, anything or everything needed a re-entry visa for them to come back to the country, irrespective of they having a valid GNIB or not. Now, say for example, I had to come to India, I would book my tickets for India, I would be here, but at the same time, along with that, I would book for a re-entry visa so that whenever I'm heading back to the country, along with my valid GNIB, I would have to show a re-entry visa too. Now, this system, this rule eventually changed. When I was there, that is 2018 to 19, I think this change happened within that period where this rule was taken off. So anybody and everybody who would step out of Ireland now did not need 2 documents to get back into the country, needed just one, which is having a valid GNIB. Then comes the second step of evolution for this re-entry visa. Now, re-entry visa was further used only and only for people who did not have a valid GNIB. Now, this applies in most cases of people who left the country in the middle of the pandemic, right? So if someone left Ireland and came back to India before the pandemic started, in the middle of the pandemic, or after the pandemic and did not have a valid GNIB which is near to expiry or has expired while they were in India, because this is not an online process, as most of you know, this card has to be sent by post along with your passport to get it renewed. Now, since this process of physically being at the GNIB office and sending your card and your passport by post is not possible when you are in India and you are with the expired GNIB card, is when you use this re-entry visa. Now, how do you do this? When you're in India, is this same process that somebody had followed when they were first applying for their visa to enter Ireland after getting their admission, right? You fill the AWADS form and then you apply for the visa. It's the same process. You go to the nearest visa office and you fill in the AWADS form. The only difference would be this time you're not paying 14,000 or more. You're only going to pay 7,000, which is half the price. And this time you're only going to give in all the existing cards that you already have, expired or not. So like your PPS number, your GNIB card, your passport and all of it. Now, you get an approved visa, an approved re-entry visa, usually within 30 days or slightly more. Now, the next step of evolution. If say I came back to India in the middle of the pandemic, which I did, which I fall in that bracket, and my extensions that the government kept giving, right? So the government kept extending the date of expiry by 3 months first, then 6 months, then again 3 months. If I have crossed all of them and if I have been out of the country for more than 6 months, then what's the solution? You do the same process. You go to a VFS and you do your AWADS form, you pay 7,000. There is an added step in between. Now, once your documents are verified, you get a call from the Irish embassy who is based out of Delhi. Now, these people are going to call you to understand why is it that you've decided after so long to go back to the country. Now, all they want to understand if this is an immigration move or not, if you are going to go back to the country and contribute to their economy, or are you going to rely on the government, because Irish government has been very supportive for every citizen or immigrant in the country for as long as the pandemic lasted, right? So they just want to find out if you're going to go there and rely on the funds that the government is providing you, or are you going to really apply for jobs and then eventually pay taxes from your salary. Now, this call is going to be, you wouldn't say it's an interview, but they are definitely going to question you. They are going to try and understand if in the past few months you have ever tried to apply for jobs in Ireland, or have you given any kind of interviews and all of this. So say you spoke to them and you told them that yes, I have been applying. The next step would be they would give you an email ID and ask you to send all the proofs over an email. Now, this has to be a list of attachments. The attachments could be all the jobs you might have applied for on LinkedIn. It could be easy apply or redirection to the website, like how it works on LinkedIn usually. If any interviews were scheduled, if any interviews were attended, if you received emails from the company saying that you're shortlisted or you have been rejected, anything, all the proofs that would possibly show that you have applied and you have been trying. And this is to prove to them that you're not going to rely on the Irish government, but going to pay tax and contribute to their economy. This is the third stage of the re-entry evolution. Then came a time where I saw people who I know, personally witnessed them go to Ireland by doing all of this. I've been a part of calls, when I say a part of calls, I've witnessed calls like this that have happened in front of me, where the immigration had questioned and these people had sent their proofs and eventually got the re-entry visa. Post this gave me hope and thought I could apply too. But then came the disaster, right? So in the month of May, June and July, somewhere in between these 3 months, the Irish government started experiencing such a huge inflow of volume of applications of all the students who had left Ireland before the pandemic, while the pandemic or just after the pandemic, and they failed to understand or failed to accommodate evaluating those profiles and did not want to take in people who would. It was basically difficult for them to differentiate between who's actually trying and who actually wants to do like an immigration move and rely on the government. Because of this, the whole system of re-entry visa that existed for so many years came to an end. Now, the whole system of re-entry visa does not exist. So my first trial of re-entry visa, even before I started to work through the process of it, was pulled back. So it's null and void now. There's no way I can. So even if you open the immigration websites of Ireland, right, there is nowhere you can find the option of re-entry visa or any information about it. But as an alternative, of course, they're going to get back people in, right? But it's going to be a more filtered process in comparison to what the re-entry did. So the filtered process is like a new set of things that they would have asked a student or like a person on a 1G to do to get back to the country. Now what that is, I will talk to you about it in the next video. quick rundown for those people who are planning to go to Ireland this September intake. If you are looking for consultation, please do not pay hefty charges. I've been telling you this time and again. 80,000, 90,000, 50,000, 60,000 is also a lot to pay for consultation charges. Please find someone who can guide you through by all means, in like not trying to make numbers by sending you to a particular country or a particular university. I offer consultation too, so if you want my help, I will leave a link below. You can fill in the form and someone from my team will get in touch with you. Now, for people who've already applied and for people who've already gotten their admission, then now is a good time to book your accommodation. Temporary accommodation is always what I recommend first. Do not book your permanent accommodation from this country. Book your permanent accommodation only after you get there. The best solution is to book temporary accommodation when you're here. If I had to recommend, you know who I would recommend. It's Amber Student. There will be a referral link below. Please go and click on that. Type the name of your university and it will give you all the options and student accommodations available nearby. It will cost you as much as some hotel would cost you. If privacy is on priority, then go ahead for Amber Student. If economical is the priority, then hostels are a good option too, but there is an avenue for that also. So I would recommend you to do all your research before you pay any money. Okay, and yeah, I've been pretty active on Instagram, so follow me on Instagram. Sharmishta09 is my handle. I'm going to get back to you with another video talking to you about the alternative that the Embassy of Ireland has come up with when it comes to re-entry visa. And stay tuned, and until next time, see you. Bye bye.